welcome to Media Glitch. I'm your host for this segment, Miranda. With me on the couch, I've got Latino Link.
That's right. What is it? I already forgot.
Also,
Linktino is what they've been calling me around
sometimes
the
called Joel. He's playing with my sword. I kind of want it back, but he won't give it to me.
She's kind of heated because I licked it in the last one of the segments.
And then he put it back in the sheath. I mean, tell me. Anyway, if you're joining us for the first time, go ahead and subscribe because we're already awesome. And go ahead and give a like to this video. We review all of the games.
Because you are awesome.
Because you're awesome. We review all kinds of games, the good, the bad, the ugly, so that you can pretend you've already had that experience and save your own time.
And money.
And money, not having to play some of the worst ones.
Luckily, I will say this. Luckily, rarely do we have to buy the games.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with they're family.
Yeah.
You know, we get a lot of games sent to us.
This is true.
But when
some are bad.
when we say yes, we'll review your game. Sometimes we don't know what we're getting into. I'm not saying that this game is that. I'm just saying so.
And that's not the case here. So the game that we are.
I think I have an idea.
Oh.
The good, the bad, and the glitchy.
The good, the bad, and the glitchy.
There you go. The good, the bad, and the glitchy.
Definitely for Hello North's next game.
Absolutely.
But we'll talk about that later.
So the game that we are reviewing today, now that we've been talking for a long time, is called Kholat. It is actually a game that came out in 2015. And, well, what is it about, you wonder? I'm just gonna let Sean Beam tell you.
56 years ago, Russia, the northern Ural Mountains. A group of 9 students of the Ural Polytechnic Institute embarked upon a difficult winter expedition to reach the Otorten mountain. They lost their orientation and were forced to set up a camp on the slope of the mountain called Kholat Siakal. The tent was torn down and covered with snow, with all the group's belongings left inside. Further examination revealed it was cut from inside out. All of the bodies had severe internal injuries caused by an undetermined force, similar to that of a serious car accident. No external damage nor bruises were visible, besides a tongue ripped from one victim's mouth and a strange orange skin color. What really happened? Maybe the answer still waits to be discovered, deep under the snow.
Oh, Sean Beanie.
That's Sean Beam. Literally, I think it's one of the biggest selling points of the game. It runs $19.99 on Steam, and I want to say it's from like PNGR Studios. It's a Polish developer and publisher that created this game. So, as the story suggests, it's actually based on a true story that took place in the Soviet Union in 1959 when a group of 9 experienced mountaineer hikers were mysteriously killed in the mountains.
It's a fascinating story if you
haven't. And to this day, it's an unsolved death.
There's movies on it too that.
Yeah, no, there's movies about it, and one of my favorite aspects about the game is that it kind of informed me about this story, and then I'm all over Wikipedia and the internet looking up the conspiracy theories, because they're wondering if it's UFOs or monsters. There's a Yeti conspiracy that's interesting. So the game itself, however, just to kind of refocus back into it, is a survival horror exploration atmospheric game. The basis is you're trying to basically solve what happened in the mountains, or you're trying to figure out what is going on. And so you, as a expeditioner yourself, come into the mountains, you're left there, you've got a map and a compass, and you're just trying to figure your way around. Now, one of the cool things that I really liked about the game, the graphics are absolutely beautiful, and the music was absolutely incredible too.
Sounds are great too.
So I just sort of made this clip as a little combination montage of the environments and the music. Let's play that. It's worth also pointing out that the soundtrack is available separately on Steam. I want to say it's about $4.99. That would definitely be worth getting. The music in the game is absolutely beautiful. It's really draws you in. And for a game even that's 2 years old, I think those graphics hold up perfectly well. It's a beautiful environment to run around in. So as far as the gameplay experience, now, full disclosure, I didn't finish the game, so there could be a lot I'm missing.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Yes. So the gameplay itself is kind of like a creepy version of Myst, right? So you wander around. It's a little bit aimless. You have to really pay attention to the signs. Now, this one's a little more simple because there's glowing footprints to follow, and basically there's this monster that roams around that you have to spend the entire game avoiding. But then you're kind of also following him because you get led from one point on the map to another. The game, kind of lulls you into this sense of comfort because you're just sort of wandering around and things are kind of spooky and kind of creepy, but nothing really jumps out at you right away. At least until you actually just get surprised out of nowhere on it, and that kind of scared me because the music kind of builds up to it, and then something happens and you fall and you don't know why, and
This part.
then you wander around in the snow for a long time trying to find a tent because in the original, in the actual true story, there's the whole story surrounding the tent that the rescue team had found. Now, from here, the game gets pretty weird. They've clearly taken a supernatural approach to it. You have to explore all these different points on the map. The map that you get, you've obtained from the tent, and you'll see that there's several coordinates scrolled on there. So you actually can see the trail, and by the way, I hope you can actually read a map and compass, because the game is not going to give you a hand on that. So it's not really the funnest place to learn it, but either way, it's a real map. You're really trying to discern north and get around. This guy is super creepy, and he just sort of is like the nemesis of, what'd you say, Resident Evil 3?
3, yeah.
Where he just sort of, whatever, kind of just pops in and out in all these different places as you're pushing around. And if you get too close to him, you die.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I died. I was done. But overall, you just get from point to point. You pick up tons of journals and notes, and Sean Bean gets to narrate a really, really long story for you. Is that right?
Yeah. Like the notes. Oh my goodness. Listen, man, there's just too many notes. I'm not going to read that. In fact, if
Well,
you.
but Sean Bean reads it for you.
One of them,
Oh.
that takes forever. I think I went and got something to drink and came back, and Sean Bean was still talking. And I was like, holy cow.
I don't mind
I
Sean.
get it. You spent money on Sean Bean. You're going to get your money's worth, right?
I personally don't mind Sean Bean continuing to talk.
Oh, okay, I see.
But yes, it is like a big exploration of just gathering all these documents as you kind of try to figure out the mystery, and then the game's sort of pushing you along because there's this monster element that's sort of chasing you, not directly chasing you, like he just kind of moves in different places and ends up being near you, and then you just have to constantly be aware and avoid him, which is a little bit of a stressor in a game that you're also trying to navigate a real rendition of these mountains and trying to figure out and obtain all these journals and clips. So it's a little weird in that regard. I kind of wish that it had maybe not had that, I wish it had just stayed atmospheric personally.
Right.
And for my part, I didn't really deal with any glitches on it, but I understand you did.
Yeah, well, first of all, Mr. Developers, or I don't know how many there are, but please don't start your game with a huge snowstorm. Okay, so in the part where you fell, you fell down, and then it turns white, and it's white, and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to go. But in the moment, I'm just like, I'm messing around with my controller. I'm like, I don't even know that I'm actually doing something at the moment. And then I realize, oh, I'm supposed to go. So I start going, and I go, and I go. Watch this. Go over to my Twitch. Watch a stream for like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, am I moving? I don't even know if I'm moving because it's just white. It's just white. And so I said, someone Google it. So they Google it, and because I ain't got time for this. And so they Google it, and there's just tons of people. Same thing, same issue. You shouldn't have this issue right in the beginning of the game.
Well,
So
technically
someone's
that's the beginning of Act 2.
Well, if Act 1 is going from
No,
a
it's the
train
end
to
of
there,
Act
that's
1.
it.
You're right, it's
you
the
know
end
what I
of
mean? It's
Act
like
1.
you could barely call it that an act. So
Yeah.
someone said reset the game, And when you get to that part, just go straight. Just don't touch the controller, no nothing, just go straight. So I did, and finally I found 10. You know what I mean? A little bit frustrating.
But you're sort of supposed to follow the sound, I think, officially.
That's what they were saying, but I don't know, man. You know,
You just wander
streaming,
around
and it's just not, you know.
looking for a tent.
And so, but again, everything you said, I agree. I totally agree. The graphics, sound, everything. In fact, there was one time I jumped. I was like, oh, okay, you got me. Congratulations, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of games don't usually make me jump, so that was good. Well done. But then I got to a point in the stream, and I wanted to have that footage here, but it was a 4-hour stream, so like downloading it was like taking forever before we got here. So, because I'm procrastinating.
Nice.
And so, anyway, we get to a part in my stream, and you can watch it on playback, where I was going on this log, and I slip off somehow, and I thought I was gonna die, but it was, if you slip off a log, you'll die. You'll fall into the cliff. But it was just right at the point where the cliff ends and the ground begins, and I got stuck, and I couldn't get out of that. No matter what I tried, hitting buttons, everything, and so I had to reset, and the save point was so far away. I was like, oh, I'm done. And Miranda's reviewing this anyway.
Well, and one of the big downsides to an exploration game to me is I hate not being able to jump. It doesn't make sense to me.
I was saying
if
that
you're
in my
running around as a
stream too. I
character.
was saying that in my stream.
If you can't jump, it really takes you out. You just feel like you're, I don't know, running around in a buggy or something.
I could have jumped out of that.
Yeah.
I could have jumped out of that glitch.
So it would have been nice if it had a jump button, just made the character feel a little more full flesh. Other than that, you're running around as first person with your map compass that you're staring at all the time while trying to avoid the guy who's trying to kill you.
I'm like, do I really need to know how to read all this stuff? Like,
yes,
I don't have time.
The answer is yes.
Yes, and then I was just like, oh man. So, you know, hey, I'm not knocking the game. I'm just saying, you know, hey, when there's glitches, and I got 20 games sitting next to me that I have to get to reviewing as well, and I, you know, and there's glitches that aren't allowing me to go any further, I gotta stop playing. But you continued. You enough to give a review.
Yeah, I mean, enough. I would say that it would bear just understanding the type of audience this game is for. If you're into survival horrors and you don't mind the scares being kind of few and far between, but you like the atmospheric kind of elements of the game is incredibly atmospheric. I don't think it's particularly difficult, but it is a particularly time-consuming game because you're running around from actual coordinate point to coordinate point on the map. And it's just a whole lot of walking. You can do a little bit of running.
And it can lead to nowhere, too.
And it can lead to nowhere. So, you know,
you can go to a dead end.
Yeah.
And just be stuck there.
A very pretty game. Again, atmospheric. The music, I highly recommend the soundtrack. But other than that, for $20, it does tend to feel a little steep for a game that kind of feels like it's kind of, I don't know, sometimes wasting your time, unfortunately. So that would be my biggest complaint on it. But I play games differently, just depends on what you like. So that's my opinion on the game. And that could be your opinion too. I hope you liked this review. Definitely subscribe if you haven't, like the video if you haven't too, and ring the bell to make sure that you can get notifications of when we are both streaming and when we've uploaded new content. See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.